What's up, guys? Mike Tierney here from Princess Auto. Welcome to Tech Tips with Mike T. We're talking about maintenance and safety with log splitters. So you've got your log splitter, you've been using it for part of the season, maybe it's time to do some maintenance. So first things you're going to want to look at are the oils. So we have two sides of that system on this specific log splitter. For example, we have our hydraulic system, and we also have our drive system, which is our gas engine. So, there's recommended oils that the manufacturers are going to give in your operator's manual. So maybe keep that handy or keep that around in a filing. You want to go back and make sure that you're using the right engine oil, so 5W30, 10W30, or whatever they recommend, and the right hydraulic oil. The grades of oil vary. Basically, you're looking at what time of the year are you using your log splitter. Are you adjusting from a summer, fall application to maybe splitting in the winter? That all depends on your specific applications. So changing the oil out of your engine, changing your oil out of your hydraulics, maybe making sure that the levels are correct, because wear and tear, leaks happen. Making sure that you maintain all of your your structure of the log splitter. So some of the other maintenance things you want to do is just identify if there's any issues with the hoses. So hoses start to rub. If you're splitting a lot of wood and they're abrasive. This unit here actually has some coil to protect the hose, but not all of them come with that. So you just want to inspect your hoses. Make sure there's no wear points or cracks forming. If you leave this out in the sun, the jackets over time do start to crack. It is a rubberized material, and they do checker a little bit. So you want to make sure that you have no leaks within your hydraulic system. That can cause some dangerous situations. We call it injection injuries, so a very, very small leak in a hydraulic system that comes out almost like a mist. If you see that, you never want to check that with your hands. You want to make sure that you're using cardboard to identify if that's an actual spurting leak at high pressure. Even if you're not using it, you never know what's pressurized, what's not pressurized. You want to make sure that that never comes into contact with your hands. That's called an injection injury, and that's a dangerous situation when it comes to hydraulics. So checking your hoses, making sure that there's no abrasion or too much abrasion, making sure that the fittings are all where they're supposed to be, how tight they are, making sure that your valve's not leaking. Always inspect your hydraulics. When it comes down to replacing filters, once or twice a year, depending on your usage. 10 micron filter works really well. You can pick them up at Princess Auto. We carry them in the hydraulics department. Also the different lines, if you have to replace them, if you do have a blowout, you can just go and visit your local Princess, and we will make up the hoses there on site for no charge. So our hydraulic cutting and crimping program is a free service. So you just have to bring in your sizes or the hose that you need replaced. So that's basically the maintenance. When it comes to the oil filling in your reservoir, you want to make sure there's about 80% full all the time. Whatever you do, and this happens all the time, is this cylinder is a big container, and the reservoir typically on a log splitter holds an X amount of gallons, and this cylinder, once it fully extends, it's going to hold all that oil. Now, make sure that you don't go and check your oil level when you've fully extended your cylinder. If you find that there's a very low oil in your reservoir, we've seen it where, oh boy, I have to add some oil. Never check your oil level when the cylinder's extended, because almost half of your oil may be in the cylinder, and then you go and top up your reservoir, and next thing you know, you retract the cylinder and oil spitting out of the breather cap of your reservoir, and there's oil everywhere, which is a big mess, and it's an environmental issue as well. So big cleanup. So always check your oil 80% full, and don't refill or top up when a cylinder is fully extended. Leaks are bad in any case, so just make sure that that's not happening. When it comes to the mechanical side of the log splitter, over here is our bed of our log splitter. As you're extending and retracting, as you're splitting wood, bits and pieces of bark and smaller pieces of wood do tend to build up within the bed of the log splitter. And the channel that the blade runs in can get wedged in there with some of that the wood chips and bark. It's a good idea to take a screwdriver or whatever fits in there, a scraper, and maintain that channel so that you keep things clear. Because as you start to extend, retract, and more material builds up, you're actually limiting over time. You may limit the length of your stroke, and that's you're not getting the best performance out of your machinery. Just maintain anything around the blades. So the blades do come somewhat sharp. They're not razor sharp. They are a wedge to split. Over time, that does start to get a little bit chippy, and the edge may fold over. You can easily take these off and take them to on a grinder and just kind of grind down those edges just to kind of keep a nice edge. Because if you do run your hands on that blade, you can start to cut your fingers and that kind of stuff. And it splits better when it's got a nice beveled edge. Other than that, tire pressure. So if your tire's sitting for a while, make sure that you've got good tire pressure. Your coupler on the other end, make sure that actually fits on your balls. Sometimes they need to be set a little bit. If you're towing, again, no high speed towing, but if you're towing, through your woodlot or your back 40 or your acreage, whatever it is you're doing, it's a good idea to use the safety chains. Make sure they're on there, just in case something does let go off the ball, it's not going to go careening into the ditch. So it just helps keep everything on the back of your equipment that you're going to be towing. So that's really about it when it comes to the maintenance. Just keep it clean. It's a great idea to possibly cover this, whether you purchase an actual log splitter cover or a tarp. Try to keep the hydraulics out of the sun. Try to keep your engine out of the weather. It's just going to prolong the life of your log splitter. These things aren't cheap, and when you want to use them, you don't maybe use them all year long. You just want them to work when you need them, and just by a few minutes of inspecting and doing some maintenance, these things should last pretty long time, so lifetimes. So that's it for Tech Tips with Mike T. See you next time.